All right. Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are calling from. Thank you very much for joining us for the first ever Alumni International panel discussion here. And as you know, we are celebrating International Education Week, and this is really to celebrate the diversity of the university and how fortunate we are to have alumni from different parts of the globe all joining here. This is really a truly international event, as you get to hear from alumni from various continents, various countries, and really for them to share the experience with you from being students and also to what they are doing now. This afternoon, we'll have Pauline, who will serve as the moderator. She will reach out to or have each of the panelists introduce themselves, say a few words, and then we'll go into the Q&A with the students and the panelists. So students, feel free to start entering your questions in the chat section. This way we can read it once they are done with the introductions. Let me see if there's anything I'm forgetting. And also for the panelists, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with us this afternoon. I'll now turn over to Pauline so we can go ahead and get started. Thank you.
Yeah, and I also want to add my thanks to our panelists for taking time out of their busy schedule. And I know that some of you are from different parts of the world. So I just want you to know how appreciative we are of the contribution that you're willing to make for our current international students and our alumni all over the world. So thank you for agreeing to be a part of this panel. The first one that I hope will be one of many in the future. So I'd like to start by, I guess the first person on my screen is Jorge. So Jorge, if I could just have you introduce yourself, tell us what country you're from, the class you're, the company that you're working with, and your job title. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pauline. So hello, everyone.
Hello.
I have had a pretty bad cold this past few days, so I apologize if my voice sounds a little bit strange. But I'm Jorge. I'm joining in today from Ecuador. I graduated from Riddle Daytona Beach campus back in 2008. I did a Master's of Science in Aeronautics. And right now, my current position is I am the Safety and Compliance Manager for Aerialoop, which is a drone delivery startup. It's working in several countries in Latin America.
Thank you, Jorge. And then next on my screen is Dinu. Dinu, thank you for joining us today. Can you share where you're from, the class year, your company, and your job title again?
Thanks for having me today. I'm joining from Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm working at FlexJet. What I do for work is I work as a business analyst, but in the IT department. So technically, I'm a software analyst, and also currently I'm working on a few projects. And one of the projects I'm acting as a product manager. And I graduated last May, so I'm working like for 2 months, 3 months.
Oh, that's wonderful. And originally, where are you from?
I'm from Sri Lanka. Yeah, I was born in Italy, Sri Lanka, so both are my countries. Yeah.
Wow, multiple countries. Okay, and then thank you, Dini. Next, we have Max. Hey, Max. Same question.
Yes. Hi, Pauline. Very nice to meet you. Yes. Hi, everyone. I hope because I'm not sure Zoom is a little different than Teams, what we usually use. You can see me, right? You can hear me.
Yes, we can see you and hear you.
Awesome. Awesome. So yes, so my name is Maximilian Meikens. I graduated 2017 in Daytona Beach campus. Today I'm the Director of Product and Marketing for Eurowings Discover. So we are Germany's third largest airline. We offer 50, we have over 50 destinations and a fleet of 21 aircrafts. Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Max. And next we have Hamad. Hamad Mumtaz, would you like to share?
Hey, everybody. Good to see familiar faces out here. And just a disclaimer, I'm not driving. I'm here in a parking lot. It's our first snow in Toronto here, so it's actually snowing outside. Just to give you guys a background, I was born and raised in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, originally from Pakistan, and recently relocated to Canada. So now I'm here in Canada. I work for a private jet operator called NovaJet, and I'm in the charter sales department. So we basically sell private charter to our clients here out of Canada.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hamid. And then we have Nishant Chowdhury.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can see and hear me clearly.
Yes.
So I'm Nishant. I was born and raised in India. I graduated with my bachelor's from Embry-Riddle in business administration in 2014. Did complete my master's in 2018. Currently, I'm based in Dublin, Ireland, and I work as an independent strategy consultant for Optum Ireland, which is United Healthcare Group. So happy to be here and happy to see a lot of familiar faces.
Thank you. I think you saw that we had two of our panelists were unable to join us today due to some unforeseen circumstances, but that's our panel for today. Thank you very much for being here. And then I'm going to, I don't care about the order, but I'm just going to ask the question, if each of you, our panelists, could share your personal experiences on how you got to where you are now. You could share that with the rest of our alumni and international students that are watching today. I guess if you want me, we could go in the same order. How about that? So we'll start with Jorge.
Suggest the same
Is that
thing,
okay?
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like anyway, I'm the one that who graduated the longest time ago. So yeah, it has been a very exciting ride. And when someone in job interviews and talking to clients, things like that, I always like to start talking about my experience back to the days when I was working at Riddle. I held some interesting jobs there at university. I worked at the library. I worked supporting the part shop and the flight line. Then I worked as a research assistant as well. But those experiences also provided a lot of not just very meaningful learning and insights about who I wanted to become, but also give you the sense of working as part of an international community, which is something that has kind of been a theme on different positions I've had. Thanks to Riddle, I was able to get a job as an intern for United Airlines on the field that I still continue working with. Back then, I was a continuous improvement intern. And after almost a year, then I returned back home here to Ecuador, and I was offered a position with the Civil Aviation Directorate. It didn't last long. I stayed with them for about 6 months, and then I was offered a position as a safety and quality manager for a helicopter operator. And that has kind of been my career path since then. So I have done a lot of work with safety management systems and supplier compliance and quality audits. Just until recently, I started doing independent audits as an SBAO auditor. So I have worked with some private charter operators in the States and Latin America and Europe, doing SBAO audits for them. And about 2 years ago, some friends who also happened to be Riddle graduates told me, "Hey, we're starting up this company doing drone delivery, and you have pretty good relationships with civil aviation authorities, and you know a lot about risk management. So why don't you come over and become our safety manager and help us prevent accidents?" So I took on the challenge, and that's where I'm at right now.
That's great. Thank you, Jorge. How about you, Dinu?
Before joining Embry-Riddle, I moved to America in 2016. I went to 2 years of high school because I didn't speak English. Then I moved to Florida for college, and then I decided I'm already paying so much money to go to college. I want to have the American experience. So I encourage everyone to like get involved on campus activities. Like me, myself, I served 2 years in SGA. Something people don't know about SGA, when you get involved, like you get tuition vouchers and scholarship, and that's how like everything, like just get involved at SGA, not SGA, any club. If they don't have the club to join, just you can create your own club in school. We have like 260 club, and I think I'm co-founder of SAYS, Society of South Engineers and Scientists. So like there is so many opportunities you have available, and also like working off campus. Like I think as an international student, you might have like a lot of financial situations. So, and also when you go to apply for a scholarship, the first thing they're like, you have to be a citizen or like a US citizen, something. But like I just ignore that, like go apply for a scholarship, and when you work on campus, try to do something related to your major. And also me myself, I came to do piloting, but I didn't have the financial stability, so I had to switch majors. And I think it's okay to switch majors, and it's not the end of the world. And I graduated in 4 years this May, and then I was very worried because it's really hard to like find a job in US, because I'm from Sri Lanka. I don't know if you're familiar with the Sri Lankan economic. It's not really great. Like but I studied. There's like, I don't think there's a job opportunities back home. We do not even have an airline back home. We do have an airline, but it is very small. So I wanted to stay here, and I was searching for a job of almost like 2 months, 3 months. And another thing, in school, you go to a really good school, you have so many resources available in school, and you will need so much courage to go and someone to like, hey, I need help, can you please help me? Those resources, we have career services, alumni engagement, they are more than willing to help you because they want to see you succeed. And just reach out to resources. And so that's what I did. And Angie is here today. She helped me like connect with, like, you think you know how to do the job search, you think you know how to answer the question, but she was like, no, Gino, that's not how you do it. And she guided me kind of through like how to do the job search, reach out to people and stuff. And then I ended up and also like I was like just applying for big companies. But if you want to find a job in America, you need to do your own research, because finding a job itself is a full-time job. It was very time consuming, and I was just applying for a job everywhere on LinkedIn and everything. But something I later came across, there's like, even they will offer you a job for your OPT, for get like 3 years experience, and after that they want like sponsor you full time. So there is this website I came across, like a myvisajob.com. It show you their sponsorship history. Then you can just focus on the, if you want to stay in here for a long term, like you can just focus on the countries that do, not countries, the companies do sponsor. So that's why I break down my list of 5 things, and then I applied. I don't know why I personally wanted, I was here when I went to high school, so I wanted to kind of move back to Ohio because I don't have family here, but the closest thing to home was in Ohio. So I was more focusing on companies in Ohio, aviation company, and then I came across NetJets, FlexJet, and those two, they both are private jet company. I don't know why. I do personally like private jet companies. I don't know, because I work at one now, maybe that's why. But and also something I think like don't always apply for big companies, because when you join a small company, I think you have like a lot of leadership opportunities to like grow as a person, and you can always move to a big company, and big companies have like so much competition. And yeah, just I think I'm just going around like I'm very nervous. But and also give me 1 second. I wrote down things, so I'm just gonna
Yeah, please share.
yeah, so like I give me 1 second. And also when you go to an interview, make sure like whoever interviewing you is a job seeker, like they have been in your place before with you, so they understand you. So just be yourself. And when it's come to recruiters, you are one applicant, but they made like thousands applicants a day. Like they interview so many people. Like don't know, I wouldn't like say like try to impress them, because when you try to lie and try to fit into the criteria they are looking for, they know like you are lying. And also you don't personally go work for something that you don't fit into, because you're going to spend at least 8 hours of your day working with people. So I think that's like just being yourself and researching about the company and find where you fit in the company is very important. And I think that's like something I followed through like in my job. And then I decided, like I had a first round Flexjet, NetJets, and Frontier and GoJet. They are not big companies, but I really like the people I met through, and still I have connection with the managers I met through from other companies. And just keep that connection, and also don't gatekeep information, like share with them, because I really believe like you get what you give. So then finally I moved here like 2 months ago. So at Flexjet, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dinu. And now we go to Max.
Yes, thank you very
Max
much.
from Germany.
So yes, back to Germany, right? I didn't mention that maybe before, so I'm sitting here in Frankfurt, Germany, our headquarters. So yeah, I can absolutely relate to what Dino just said. So giving the really start using the university resources is something that I can absolutely recommend to you. This is actually also something that I did back in the days when I was at Embry-Riddle. So I used to work as a grad research assistant in the College of Business. And this was really interesting for me because I got to know a lot of the professors, a lot of the also the institutions within Embry-Riddle, and what the different like one of them would be the alumni office. So I remember back in the days it was really helpful, and this is something I can recommend to all the students, was get engaged with alumni, because now I say we were in the same place that you are today. So that's why it's super helpful. And this is something that I also did. So when I was working at a graduate research assistant, I used the career fair to get a better impression on what are the companies that are out there. And I think Embry-Riddle really has amazing relationships with most of the companies that are in the aviation industry. So that's why you can use the career fair really to get an impression about the companies. And I would really relate to what Dino just said. It's not very helpful to just go to those recruiting events where they have thousands of people speaking in front of them, and then you try to make your way. And I would even go one step further. I think what helps even more is when you realize what you want to do, think about it. And then if you find a job or a company that you really want to work for, use the resources that the university has. Try to find out what are alumni that work for that company. And alumni can choose whether they want to be contacted by current students or not. At least it was back in my days. I don't know how it is today, Edmund. Don't want to promise anything here. And then you can use those alumni to get a better understanding of what the company or the specific department you want to work for actually does, and then try to use that to get better insights. And then at the end of the day, also use that contact person. Because if you really want the job and you really know why you want to know the job, chances are high you'll be able to talk to an alumni that will help you to get into that company. That is actually something that I did. So that's why I used to work for Lufthansa Cargo in Atlanta as an internship. The second big advice I would give you, definitely go for internships because they help you to better understand what you want, and also to help you to explore companies. And even if the biggest learning is that that's not the company you want to work for, that's also a learning. So that's what I did. I worked for Lufthansa Cargo. After that, that was something that was interesting to me. I decided that I don't want to work in the US. So after the internship, it was clear to me that I wanted to move back to Europe. So then I applied from that internship that I got at the beginning because of alumni relationship. Then from this internship, I applied for a job at Lufthansa Consulting in Germany. Used to work there as an associate consultant on different jobs. And that was really where I realized that at that time I was still comparably broad. I mean, for all my friends that also had studied business at that time, they thought that I already know exactly what I wanted just because I went to an aviation university. But actually at that point, I knew I wanted to work in aviation, but it could have been anything within the business area. So that's why that job really helped me to work as a consultant, because I used to work during that time in several different departments, whether it was marketing, product, customer focused departments within the group. But that really helped me to better understand where I want to go. So after that, I worked as a consultant in a different subsidiary of Lufthansa Group at 0G, where I got a lead consultant for the field of business consulting. And that really helped me to jump into, during COVID times, into my last project. This is something that is very usual. If you work as a consultant for a company, you will usually every 3 months, or it depends, I mean, obviously, and Nishant is going to probably elaborate on that, but it depends, like you might work on one project only for 6 weeks and other projects up to 6 months. But this really helps you to get to know either the industry or the company or the group you're working in. And that was at least in my case. So I used to work in different departments. And then what happened at the end is I found a department, or I found a project that I thought was really cool. And that gave me the opportunity to further go up in the career. So therefore, I just stayed with that project, and that's how I got here and where I am today.
Okay.
So, yes. Thank you very much, Paulina. I'll give it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Max. And we go from Frankfurt to Toronto to Hamad.
So how I got here. So basically, it all started definitely in Daytona Beach. And I actually, working with Edmund and Keith, I was part of the Alumni Association as well. And even before that, actually, Embry-Riddle had a huge part of how I was in school as well. There were actually 2 alumni from back in the day that Edmund, I'm sure you know about as well, Mr. Khalid and Mr. Amir, who actually really influenced my family. He was friends with my dad, and they're like, hey, Embry-Riddle. And then my dad looked into it, and then that's how I applied and actually got in. So thanks to other alumni from, I believe it was class of, I think, either the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. That's how I actually got to Embry-Riddle. And I didn't mention this before, but I started in 2009 and I finished in 2012 at the aerospace studies. So yeah, it was a journey that I took. And if I want to look at it in a more philosophical way, a couple of things that I would definitely say is, have determination and be ready to, face the world where you step outside of your comfort zone. For example, a prime example right now, the snow outside for me is outside my comfort zone. I was born and raised in the desert. I was used to temperatures above 40, 45 degrees Celsius. And here I am right now in like -2 and it's snowing outside. So, sometimes you have to make those decisions where, initially you think that you will struggle or, something's not going to go right. But at the end of the day, it pays off because, you've made that conscious effort to make a better person of yourself. So, so that's definitely something that, helped me kind of migrate throughout the countries that I have been. After I did finish from Embry-Riddle, I actually went to another school in the US in Tennessee to do my master's, and just to kind of see a different culture, different part of the country in the US. And then I went back to the United Arab Emirates, to Dubai. I did an internship, as Max said, and Dino said, that's so important to do, get yourself involved as much as you can, because as an intern, you never have that barrier of like knocking on the door of like the high ups, and you can be like, hey, I want to learn from you. And that definitely helped me as well from my experience in Dubai. After that, I got an opportunity to migrate to Canada just a couple of years ago. And it's been a, I don't want to say roller coaster ride. It's been a fun ride. It's been very different. And I recently also in the last couple of years got married, and I also just got a little baby girl a couple of weeks ago. So life has been
Congratulations.
completely, thank you so much. It's gone from 0 to 100 over the past couple of years. But yeah, what I would definitely say is, just step outside that comfort zone. It will pay off eventually, definitely.
Thank you, Hamad. Okay, from Hamad, we go to Ireland with Nishant.
Hi. First of all, congratulations, Ahmad. Happy to hear about the baby. Uh, and I would like to, I never get a chance to, but I would like to thank one person. He's the reason I first came to Embry-Riddle. He was my first point of contact at international admissions back in 2009. So that's where it started. I was pursuing aircraft maintenance engineering, transferred to Embry-Riddle for aerospace engineering with a scholarship and some credit transfers and stuff. My journey was very non-traditional. I didn't follow the norm that every student follows. And basically I came in as an aerospace engineering student 2 years into the program. Second year, I got an exchange scholarship to go to Germany, spent a year in Berlin, came back, started realizing one of the things back then, everybody was like, you're an international student, no aerospace company or airline is going to hire you. And I took a practical approach at that time, like, what can I study that I could go to any corner of the world and work without any issues? So I took the easiest route of switching to business after 2 years into engineering. And in my undergrad year, though I was in business, I ran a drone project for Galapagos Islands, went on Discovery for an episode, great coverage, great publicity. Uh, I did 3 internships, one with Next Gen Research Lab, had no air traffic background, nothing, just knocked the door, asked them, you guys are hiring interns, can I get an internship? And that's how I got my first experience in the United States. After that, second internship with an investment bank in Miami, no background, nothing, cold calling people from LinkedIn, it worked out. Then got an internship at Southwest, it turned to a full-time job, graduated, took 21 or 24 credits in my last semester to go back to Southwest. And in that last semester, I got 3 other job offers as an undergrad. And that was the time I realized to achieve something not typical, you have to take a not typical route. You have to do something different. Because when I was there, it was right 2010, 11, right after the big recession. Every international student you meet, oh, nobody's going to hire you. Nobody's going to hire you. Don't let others tell you where your destiny or where your path is. You are going to make it yourself. Don't listen to people. Do what's best for you. Fast forward, Southwest sponsored work visa, didn't get picked in the lottery. Got a graduate assistantship, came back for master's at College of Business again in aviation finance. Incredible 2 years of my life. Had the best boss on campus, working as her graduate student assistant. She was the graduate program coordinator as well. Something really fun I got to do when I came back, I helped her redesign the graduate orientation program, which went from a 1-hour session to a whole day event and brought career services, alumni association, every organization, because these are the resources for which you pay the money at a private university. You don't pay so much tuition to just sit in a classroom. You can sit in a classroom on an online university program paying 1/10 of what you pay at Embry-Riddle. You come here for the network, for the resources, for the people, who are going to guide you through your journey. So brought them all into orientation. And for me, Alumni Association and career services were something, even as an undergrad, I came onto the campus first day, and those are the offices I visited as a freshman. So that's where I was going to get the most out of my money. So I did knock those doors, and it helped. Did my master's. Even in my master's, I did 2 internships, ran a nonprofit. I was heavily engaged with student organizations. When I came as an undergrad, international students didn't have a big orientation program. So I worked with Shane Ryan, who used to be the Student Activities Office's director, and started International Students Programming Council, which became a mentorship program, international orientation program, and organization grew and became a big thing on campus. Happy to do that because it helped me a lot. And it helped me build a lifelong friendship with many people from across the world. Graduated, fast forward, was waiting on my OPT. After 4 months, I was notified on a Friday night at 9:30 p.m. by USCIS, OPT petition denied. Called a few attorneys, and I was informed either enroll in a second master's or leave the country. And as I was in grad school, I don't know why I had this gut feeling something is going to go wrong. So I was not only looking for jobs in United States, but outside. So as I finished my master's, I had 14 jobs lined up, some in Europe, one in Australia, one in Singapore, some in the US, and one in Canada. And got the news, 36 hours, sold the car, packed my bags, left the country. So this is my piece of advice. When things don't go the way you plan, life has a different plan. Just do your best, keep moving. That's my non-traditional route. And from there, came into Europe, worked in Germany for a little bit, worked in Amsterdam, in Ireland, worked with an aircraft lessor, worked with an investment bank again. Now with United Healthcare Group, I never thought I would work in healthcare sector, but opportunities came and I gave it a shot, and I'm very happy where I am, what I'm doing, learning new things, growing each day. So keep an open mind. Don't listen to what others say. Do what you feel is best for you, where your passion takes you. And one thing most important along this whole journey that I learned, it's not how smart you are, it's how your relationships are with people. Invest in people. That's the key. So never forget that.
Thank you, Nishant. Wow, those are some amazing stories. And I mean, to start with Jorge, I really could see a lot of parallels in all your stories. Starting at Embry-Riddle, like looking for work opportunities in Embry-Riddle to begin, and then forming connections, using our resources, to Dinu and Max's internship opportunities, to Hamad and Nishant's, you have to, create your own path. I think those are some really wise words. I want to open up the floor to our audience to see if they have any questions for our panelists. And while you're, thinking of your questions, I'll start with a question for all of you, and any of you can respond. I think Nishant already kind of touched on this, but I wonder what your thoughts are on the roles that our offices take, like the alumni and career services, as well as international offices on campus, in creating opportunities for international students, employment opportunities for international students. It's always a tricky, issue because we have the limitations that are placed upon international students, immigration limitations. And I think, you also mentioned how no aerospace company will ever hire you. And then that's also true for many students who are seeking jobs in the airline industry as pilots. My first year here, we were able to get a spot in the career services fair, the expo, and we had many aeronautical science students come to our table to say, no one wants to hire us. So, I mean, we really, like, for the next one, we decided to take some tissue with us because it was just sad and depressing. But one good thing is, we followed your advice. We were basically like, don't let this keep you down. But I'm curious to hear from you guys on your, I mean, I've already heard some of you. I haven't heard the rest of you talk about how do you see our roles? What could we be doing better to provide support for students when it comes to looking for employment opportunities? Or do you think we're great and awesome? We'll take that too.
So yeah, I just want to mention that that's absolutely right, and what Nishant mentioned as well. The networking aspect of the alumni association is really key. And as I mentioned, like the way I actually became a student at the university was because of alumni in the past. That itself was an opportunity that was created by the alumni from Embry-Riddle. And again, I've had so much time. I've spent so much time with Edmund and Keith, and the exposure, especially from different trade events like the NBAA, the air shows. You get to meet people who are actually in amazing positions, and also the students, because I've seen it from both sides. When I was in Florida, we used to go to the NBAA as students. It was more of a hey, let's get the goodie bags, take pictures, the cool planes and stuff. But then slowly that changed into, hey, the people we're meeting are really important people. And these are the people who can help us at a certain time, even if you are international students. So it's not necessarily because, we're from somewhere else, it still helps in a way. So I've personally experienced that with the Alumni Association. And I think you guys do a great job when it comes to the trade shows. And hopefully, we do more and more events in Canada. I know Edmund and I were talking about this before as well. But yeah, that's definitely something that's important. And what I just want to add something else that Nishant mentioned too, like your network is your net worth. And I love that saying because it is so true. The more you meet, the more you understand people. And now with my specific job where, I have to make some calls out to people who are looking to rent a private jet, it's obviously people who have a substantial amount of money. So the way you network with them, the way you communicate with them, it can make or break a deal. And with that same mentality, I think it's important to go and also as a student go and meet. So the next time you guys go to the NBAA, just think about the people around. Besides the cool planes as well. The people that you meet is also a really important aspect. So I think that is definitely something that is important, and you guys are really good with the shows.
Okay. Thank you, Hamid. I see Nishant's hand is up.
Something I would like to say, the resources on campus are incredible, great, but at the same time, they have their limitations. They can't knock every 5,000 students door and ask, what are you interested into? It's upon students to make the most of it. My own personal experience, I wanted to go to an IATA Big Data conference. Nobody knew. I went to my professor and asked, and College of Business sponsored me to go attend the conference. We had a women's MBA initiative on campus, which Max was the first leader there, done an incredible job establishing the organization. But then when I returned to grad school, I got to get involved with them. And something fun we did was for the Women's MBA conference, we reached out to the corporate relations office and they secured 10 flight tickets from JetBlue for us to go attend the conference. After that, went to Alumni Association, and I remember Edmund specially organized an event for us with all Embry-Riddle alumni in Chicago. It wasn't scheduled, nothing. It was organized last minute for 10 students and a faculty. They did it because we went and asked. We had a tour at JSSI. We had events scheduled for College of Business MBA students to go to Embry-Riddle and visit. So yes, these offices are incredible resources, but to make the most of it, it's not on the office, it's on the students. Go knock the door, ask for what you need. And I can promise you these guys would go above and beyond to help you. They'll do everything possible in their power. This is my personal experience.
Great.
So it's not what you guys can better do, it's what students should better ask for. That's the important question here.
Okay, Jorge, you want to weigh in?
No, I agree completely with what Michael is here have said. Bringing it down to very specific experience, this internship I was able to get was through career services. And I remember the people there at the office were great. You know, not only getting you the opportunity, but also giving you the chance to get prepared for the interview and giving you resume templates. And they were even willing to engage in interview scenarios. And that was surely a great help back then. Even after that, I've remained active, and I'm always looking for possibilities within the career services website. So I mean, definitely something that every student needs to take advantage of, along with all the other initiatives and programs that the university has. But completely agree with what Nishan has. It takes a lot of initiative on your own to be able to explore and make the most out of all these amazing resources the university has.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I can absolutely, I really have to support what Nishan just said. I mean, try to be active. And this is something for the students. And I think everybody who is here in the call today, I mean, if you're in the call today as a student, that already shows you're one of those students who is active. So you shouldn't be too worried about your future, to be honest. Something that I have also experienced in the past is really there is a big gap also or big difference within the students. And this is something, again, what Nishan said, it's not just going to class and sit down there. If you really want to look at your career, then you have to reach out to the organizations. So therefore, I think, at least again, also all the contacts that I had with the alumni office was always super helpful. It's really about you who have to make the difference. You as a student, you have to reach out, think about what you want to do, and be active. So therefore, I can only encourage you, if you have a question today, use these things. Like, you've got 5 people here who already have a job, who are former Embry-Riddle students, and who are obviously willing to spend an hour talking about what their experience is. So if you have a question, or if you want to reach out, you should really use exactly these formats like the one that we have right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Max. It looks like we've got some late stragglers coming in, but Jinyu, what are your thoughts about your resources when you were on campus?
I agree with what Nishan said. Like, it's us have to go and ask, and because if you don't ask, you don't get. But at the same time, I think something I ran into, because everyone's saying international student can't find jobs, it's hard to get a job. It's just, I feel like no one really knows the process. No one really know how to answer an application, the questions given. Like one of the questions I ran into, and I still up to this day, I don't know how to answer that question. It's like, do you need sponsorship? Like, I would like put no, because my argument was like somebody else, like I technically need a sponsorship because my OPT is only for 3 years. Now it's only for 1 year and then extension for 2 years. But I would put no, my argument would be like, it's not me lying, like my genuine argument. I have sponsorship for 3 years. My visa is visa is covering for sponsorship. Like, I think like those are like because it's when it comes to a US citizen, and if they're applying for a US, like if international students are applying for US jobs, and me personally, I was like applying every to all the companies without even knowing. For example, I was applying for Boeing, and she was like, Dino, you only have 3 months. Boeing process is very long. You're not gonna get in, and also do Boeing sponsor. Like, I was just applying left and right to everywhere. Like, I think those are the things like we can like help student out, like making a list. Like I don't know how I got the list. I had like a list of international friendly companies, like something like those kind of things, like having that, and like helping student, like because something I noticed also, if you need sponsorship, because if the company is using like the electronic to filter out application, they're not even gonna, no matter how advanced, overqualified, and how much skill you bring, how much you fit into the company, if you put no to that question, they're not even gonna look at your application. And all the offers and connection I made, it was through referral. That's how I got all my interviews. And I think those other things, I think like having someone who's aware of international law and the rules, because when it comes to international services, they are highly on the visas and I-20, making sure we are all legal on the school. They are not about like they are to like help us find a job. Career services and alumni engagement, there is like to help us find, like having that connection between like a bridge between the both department will be like be very helpful for a student, because I met my friends, like half of my graduating class people I'm friends with, they went back. They didn't even try to find a job, just because people say it's hard to find a job. And it's like not hard to find, because they don't know the process. No one is there. They tell us like, this is what you need to do. So yeah, I think somebody like being like knowing like how to do this, like help people. Like me personally, I'm more than happy to help people. It's like somebody like I was able to help like few of like my friends who graduated from the worldwide college, because their graduation was later than us. Like I'm helpful, like having that mentorship or something, that will be very helpful for our students.
Thank you. Those are some really key, that's a really key point. That question does come up in many applications about sponsorship. And you're not lying. You don't have, you don't need one. You've got 3 years. And if you're like Nishant in business, then you only get 1 year. But in that year, he's going to work with whoever it is going to work very hard to prove themselves. And hopefully they can get, you know, in the lottery. And if not, you can go back to school and then maybe, you know, change majors. Are selecting, you know, majors is really important for international students, so they can maximize the time that they have for employment. Another key thing I wanted to share with you guys, things have gotten a little bit better with USCIS. Right now, if you file your OPT application, you'll probably get it. It's all online now. It's less, you know, less documents. And you can probably get your OPT in about a month or less. I've had students get it in 13 days. Shocker, but it's happening. So unfortunately for you guys, things weren't as great. I mean, I think around the time when you guys were there, it's probably 3 to 6 months to get your OPT card, or 3 to 5. Anyway, that's the good news for our international students that are out there in the panel. One other thing I wanted to point out, our campus, our career services has this platform. It's called Interstride, INTERSTRIDE. And if you haven't used this tool actually, you can filter for H-1B companies, and you can also filter for CAP exempt companies. So companies you don't have to, that can file an H-1B at any time. It's mostly educational institutions and nonprofit organizations, and also government falls in that. So if you're, sometimes some students may be fortunate enough to get like an internship with a local government or county office. Sometimes those those organizations can be considered CAP exempt. And then they also have, you can also filter for companies that file for green cards. And it's a really good resource. So if you haven't gone into InterStride, it also has an alumni. You can sign up there as an Embry-Riddle alumni, and you'll see other Embry-Riddle alumni from different countries that also groups you by country if you wanted to do that. So check it out if you haven't checked that out. Any questions? I don't see any questions in the chat, but I want to give a chance to Nishant. Nishant?
I would like to say this particularly because a lot of times students ask, how do I find who sponsor, who doesn't sponsor? Like, my simple answer is go talk to your career advisor. They have a lot of databases, paid services, which you don't have access to. I was the annoying student who bothered Sandy and Sally a lot at Career Services, and I saw Sally's on call. Hello, Sally. I'm back. so no, like I said before, you have to ask. That's the end. You have to ask. They don't know what you need, and there are plenty of resources on campus to find out which companies sponsor, which don't. And oftentimes companies generally say we don't sponsor, but they do make exceptions once they realize how good you are, what your skills are, what you have to offer. And the best way to learn that is to talk to people who are currently in the company. So it's a full circle. Alumni office, career services, your faculty, your alums, they are your best resources to get that first job, to get that first internship. Just applying online without seeking the resources, you're just wasting your effort and putting it to vain. Do it the right way. Making 100 incorrect applications will not get you anything. Make 10 good applications, you'll get 8 interviews. I was an international student and there was not a single career expo where I walked through the expo and I didn't have an interview the same day or the next day. I always had 6 to 8 interviews after each career expo. And if I could do that, anybody could do that. All you have to do is work it right. Don't make 100 wrong applications. Make 10 correct applications. That's all you need.
Thank you, Nishant. That's really important and profound advice for those of you out there who are looking for jobs right now. We're running out of time. Before we do that, I want to give a shout out to Edmund, who organized this panel. Edmund, thank you so much for your willingness to work with us and for helping us connect with these amazing alumni and for promoting this event widely to all 3 campuses. I just want to say we appreciate you and thank you, and we look forward to continuing to work with you, as well as to Jorge, Dinu, Max, and Nishant, and Hamad. Hamad, I hope you're okay in the snow. I don't see you anymore in your car, but I hope that means you're out of there, or yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for sharing your knowledge, for sharing your experience, for giving some amazing and excellent advice that I know will be useful to our international students who are currently here, or who may have just graduated, who are looking for opportunities in the work field. So thank you for that. And oh, there's a bunch of there are a lot of people saying thank you to the panelists. So really appreciate you guys. And I hope you enjoy the rest of International Education Week. Yeah, too bad you're not on our campuses, but you celebrate on your own. And Cleveland, in Frankfurt, Ecuador, and in Toronto, Dublin. I forgot what city, Jorge, are you in?
Quito, Ecuador, Pauline.
Quito. Wonderful place. I haven't been there, but one day. It will go on the bucket list now. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of thanks for the panelists, so thank you very much. Edmund, anything you want to share? Is there anything you want to share?
I want to say a big thank you very much to Pauline for being our host on our very first International Alumni Panel. Looking forward to make this a tradition. I think this is a great way for us to bridge the gap with current students, especially international students, and also for international alumni to share your experience. I know this is something that most of you did not have, but now that we have the right platforms and the tools, we look to doing this event more frequently moving forward. And one thing too that came up was about finding alumni mentors. We do have that in our alumni platform now. So for all the students that are currently on this discussion, please visit the alumni website. It's alumni.erau.edu. I know you're not alumni yet, but we have it where you can go ahead and start creating your alumni profiles now. So once you create your profile and log in, you can go to, it's under the search or advanced alumni directory. You'll be able to find alumni that have checked to be mentors in their profiles. And you can sort that by company, by location, or if you have any help, feel free to reach out to myself or any member of the alumni team, and we'll be able to guide you. As I said, this is great resources. As you can see, alumni played a lot of role in their professions today, and we'd like to continue that tradition. So please feel free to reach out to any of us. Also visit the career service centers if you have any questions, especially if you're looking for companies that can help with international hiring or internships. Please feel free to reach out to the resources. Again, thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you at the next international event. All right.
Thank you
Bye.
for having
Bye.
us.
Bye. Have a good one.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you very much, guys, for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.